up, Leaguers? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the Gotham Knight, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And today we are here to honor the best costumes in Logan, aka Wolverine's wardrobe, baby. Marvel Comics has revived Wolverine. He is back in the Marvel Universe. He's alive again. And we thought it best to look back on Wolverine's history and talk about the best costumes he's worn since his Marvel debut so many decades ago. Wolverine is a fantastic character, DeepBoyce, and he's rocked some pretty cool costumes, man.
He has.
Cool costumes.
I mean, he's definitely up there as one of the more popular superhero characters. And like you said, he's kind of back in the limelight. Marvel decided to bring him back, and SSL's out here to let you know, hey, he's got some cool looks. Like as you said, we'll tell you some of the best ones. Top 5 with an honorable mention, which I think we should start off with.
Yes, honorable mention: Days of Future Past suit. So the suit that Logan was rocking in the future in Days of Future Past. Now I know what you're saying. This looks nothing like Wolverine. I get it. Me and Boyce are definitely two people who are upset with Fox for not showing a legitimate Wolverine costume. Other than that deleted scene from the Wolverine, which we're not going to talk about because he never actually wore the suit, even though that suit looked pretty dope. And I'm not going to forgive Fox for doing that. But Days of Future Past, man, looks pretty damn good. You know, it's got the homage to his costumes color scheme with the blue and the yellow on the arms, kind of like got some Under Armour under there or something that has that color scheme. You know, it's kind of got the cargo pants, the black chest plate that is meant to, I guess, some sort of armor or tactical gear. It is the closest we've ever gotten to seeing Hugh Jackman in a Wolverine costume, and it looks good for the story they were trying to tell, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it fit in with like the guerrilla warfare vibe that was going on at the beginning of Days of Future Past, where
Definitely.
the X-Men are suited for war. They're suited for war.
Yeah, it definitely gives that impression, and I'm still, like, Fox let Hugh Jackman retire without letting him rock the suit. I'll never forgive them for that.
But, he may come out of retirement and come into the MCU. You never know.
He did say he'd be down to do it. I mean, whether or not they could pull off that deal is another story. But let's get into the top 5, baby. Number 5.
Sir.
Number 5. Top 5 best Wolverine costumes. DeepBoyce, who we got at number 5? What we got at number 5?
Number 5 is what's called the Ultimate 2 suit, also known as the Unified look. It was a suit that kind of eventually came after his initial suit in Ultimate X-Men. For those of you, I mean, we've talked about this before, but the Ultimate Marvel line was an effort to try and redo the origin stories of some of the characters. Sure. On the side, with a modern take, and the X-Men were a series that had their own Ultimate line, and they tried to give them a mix of a look where it wasn't like the classic kind of cartoony look, but it was more of a kind of a leather look with stripes on it, again, to kind of give it, sort of a unique superhero look. I guess it was also kind of influenced by the X2 X-Men United movies, or the X-Men movies at that point. And you can see him in the comics with that look, and also in X-Men Legends, he had that as an alternate costume.
Great game.
Yeah, fantastic game. That was one of my favorite games of back in the day. But yeah, he had like I guess it was like a T-shirt. It was black. It was mostly black. He had some leather gear on there as well. Yeah. And again, they kind of gave him like the yellow sort of tiger stripes, even though Wolverine's not really like a tiger. But, it's supposed to evoke like a savage look. Yeah. That's usually what Logan is supposed to kind of look like, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I always kind of thought of the tiger stripes as like rips from his claws. Like if he were to rip the color and the yellow would be underneath, like, tiger, or claw strikes, I guess, because he's got 3 claws. I don't know. I always thought of it like that, but yeah. I mean, the costume looks great. I mean, it's really like a t-shirt and pants combo, to be honest with you. But it's the color scheme is great. I mean, they've essentially inverted the classic color scheme, which is predominantly yellow with a little bit of navy, and they switched it up. I mean, it may be navy or black depending on the picture you're looking at. Yeah. But your man Logan is looking fresh to death, nonetheless. Number 4, DeepBoyce. We are going with the X-Force Wolverine costume. So this costume first appeared in X-Force Volume 3, number 1 in 2008. And, I mean, listen, rocking the black and gray suit with a little bit of red in there with the X-Men belt and, the red eyes. I mean, he looks like he is ready to take down some paranormal threats. At nighttime, he looks like he's about to go hunt for the Blair Witch out there. But you know what? It looks fire, man. It looks so great. And the cool thing about it is he looks cool. He still has the badass look he's always had. Yeah. But it doesn't have like the crazy color scheme. Let's be honest. Yeah, we all know that while we love Wolverine's costume, like the yellow and blue always looked a little bit crazy. Yeah. It looked a little bit, insane, considering that, this man is, a very serious character. He's out here, in a bright blue and yellow suit. I mean, that's kind of the reason why Bryan Singer and the people behind the Fox X-Men universe never really found a reason to integrate his real suit, because they felt like it was a little bit silly in live action. Now, I believe that's a cop-out, but still.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's technically like a stealth suit, and stealth suits are always kind of sexy. They're always pretty dope when it comes to superheroes. But, this is number 4 on our list because we're not too crazy about the red eyes. It's just, I mean, the question is why? Who knows?
I mean, it's like, why have red eyes? Like, especially if you're trying to be stealth, maybe night vision or thermal vision, maybe.
Who knows? I mean, but
does he need that?
No, he doesn't. Anyway? And here's the thing. I mean, this is kind of a negative that I have. I don't know. It looks a little too reminiscent of like a Batman suit, or like he looks like part of like Batman Inc. And it's a cool suit. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but he's not Batman. This is Wolverine. This is James Howlett, a.k.a. Logan, we're talking about here.
He looks a little demonic with the red eyes. He looks a little demonic, which I'm not against, and I feel like in a stealth or night mission type of setting, it could give him some intimidation tactics that are necessary for, a mission like that. So maybe that's the reason. But I agree, it is an odd choice stylistically.
Yeah.
But on to number 3. DeepBoyce, what we got at number 3, man?
Number 3, we've got the Astonishing Wolverine look, or Wolverine suit from the Astonishing X-Men. Now, we're going to be a little specific here, and we're going to talk about the suit that he had in the rather phenomenal, was it Wolverine and the X-Men cartoon?
Yeah, underrated cartoon. Only got 1 season, man. Only got like 1 season of 20-something episodes. But that suit looks awesome, man.
It looks dope, and again, we're speaking specifically the Wolverine and the X-Men suit because it's got like a navy blue, and it kind of looks, sort of like black, but you can kind of tell that's a navy blue because it first appeared in Astonishing X-Men number 1, and it was clearly blue.
Back in 2004.
Back in 2004, and it's an homage to the original look, or the classic look, which is like yellow and blue, which is typically what you see Wolverine, or you see him like in Marvel vs. Capcom. He's got the yellow and the blue. But the Astonishing Wolverine not only does like the the ears, or I'm not sure what you would call those things.
Yeah, what are those things that he's got?
I don't know. Frills.
I guess they're ears. I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
I never really thought about what those were.
I guess we'll go with ears, but they made them smaller in this one, and again in Wolverine and the X-Men, it's a navy blue that looks a lot better, and also kind of like the trim. I mean, it's a big trim if you look at pictures of it. But I really do like that, how it kind of goes from the shoulders down into like the upper thighs.
Right.
It's a nice kind of touch, and you can also see kind of the yellow peeking in at the ribs. Looks cool too.
Right. It's got a nice streamlined design to it. It's a little less exaggerated like the classic Wolverine costume is. And at the end of the day, like, yes, it's the Wolverine and X-Men suit, but it's based on the Astonishing X-Men, which that Astonishing X-Men suit, or Astonishing Wolverine suit, I should say, which, kind of has the navy look a little bit more of a brighter blue. But Wolverine and X-Men, I think, got that combination just right by having that navy look a little bit more subtle. But, I mean, he looks fantastic in the suit. He looks like he's ready to kick some ass, man. I love it. I love that suit. On to number 2, everybody. This is, and I'm gonna put this out there. This is DeepBoyce reminded me of the suit, because this is a classic suit, but you don't often see it because everybody knows about the yellow and blue suit, which, spoiler alert, is not on this list just because it's so classic that we just wanted to kind of move outside of that. But this suit is DeepBoyce's favorite suit, so I'm gonna shift it over to DeepBoyce, man.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the red and the brown. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. There's no tan on this suit.
I mean, there's yellow.
There's yellow,
but not tan. People are like tan and brown. It's not tan.
So it's
yellow.
So it's brown and yellow. Sometimes there's some red, particularly in his in that belt, which is probably the only weak part for me in terms of the suit. It's kind of like a bright red. It looks like he's gonna go do some deadlifts or something at the gym. It doesn't. I mean, Wolverine doesn't skip leg days. You can tell.
I mean, he looks like he's about to deliver some packages for UPS. He's got some long work days, man. He had to put on that workout belt to get that back support, man. He's like, yo, my adamantium back ain't what it used to be.
Nah, he definitely looks like the Cleveland Browns mascot or something like that. I mean, or he's in season for autumn, for the month of August. But this brown and yellow suit first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 139, which was exactly in the year 1980. And wow. I may be mistaken, but this is the suit. He's actually worn this suit the most, more than any other suit.
Really? And, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember seeing like a graph or something detailing the number of days. But this is my favorite suit because, we're 90s babies. I mean, we grew up in, we were born like in 89, 90. But we grew up on the X-Men animated series, which had the yellow and the blue.
Yes.
So during that time, this suit was kind of retro. It was kind of like the alternate pick. And just for that, I always I like the look. I for some reason, I can't even really put my finger on it, but I just feel like the colors, for some reason, just really fit the character. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I guess it just evokes this sense of like wilderness or something that Wolverine is. That's like a big part of that character. He's always just out in the woods in Canada. I'm not sure why, because who wants to be out in just the middle of nowhere in Canada? But I guess when you've had like 10 wives died on you and 3 kids dead, and you've been through traumatic experiences, you want to go out into the wilderness and do your thing. And this kind of evokes that sort of, it's like a nice retro sort of woodland look to Wolverine. And sure. Again, whenever you play Marvel vs. Capcom, I'd go for the brown suit. When I play X-Men Legends, I went for the brown suit. I think even in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, they had the brown suit. I went with the brown suit. It's just it's a classic, and there may be varying opinions on it depending on people's age, because I'm sure people older than us, they probably like this, but for different reasons, because this was the suit that they saw, that they grew up with seeing in the comics. Sure. For me, like I said, I like it because I didn't really see it growing up, and it was like an alternate pick, and I was like, oh wow, how come I don't see Wolverine wearing this as much? And maybe now, who knows, for the kids, maybe they're used to the whole tank top and the jeans, and maybe they're just like, oh man, Wolverine looking mad goofy back in the days. But this is our list, and this is how we feel. I mean, I don't know what you think, Hazy.
No, I mean, I would gladly say that this costume is really awesome, and it's one of those costumes that, like you said, because of what the time period that we were born in and our exposure to Wolverine personally, we kind of miss this suit when we think about like classic Wolverine. I mean, the browns, as you said, the brown and the yellow mix, it kind of evokes how Wolverines, like the actual animals, look, because there are plenty of Wolverines that kind of have a two-tone color look to them. They certainly aren't navy colored.
Isn't it crazy that I think more people know what the character Wolverine looks like than an actual Wolverine looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even when we were talking about it, we definitely had to look up pictures of an actual Wolverine, because we were like, why does he wear these colors in the first place? Yeah. But, like Wolverines, like not all of them, but some of them do have that two-tone color. I mean, Wolverines essentially look like small bears, people. And I think they're often classified as being or identified as being like small bears. Yeah. And I think that brown and yellow really does represent, the actual animal that is Wolverine. It suits him. And, if you're Eddie's baby, you actually might remember this suit from Pride of the X-Men, which is kind of an animated series that focused a little bit more on Kitty Pryde. Yeah. And Wolverine actually wore that red and brown suit or yellow and brown suit in that show. Mm-hmm. So if you're born in the 80s, that might actually be, the first Wolverine costume that you saw. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that show didn't last very long, but hopefully that costume gets to make another appearance in comic books.
And also, to see it. Real quick, maybe some people might point this out, but this is not the suit he wore in X-Men Evolution.
Yes.
It is not.
Yeah, I don't know where X-Men Evolution got their color scheme from.
Yeah.
It's an interesting costume. I liked the form factor of it. I wasn't necessarily fond of the colors, but it's an interesting take on a character and an underrated show too.
Yeah, agreed.
But on to number one, DeepBoyce. Number one, everybody. This is a more recent suit. We're gonna call it. It has a couple names that it's been known by, but we're going to call it the Powerless Wolverine suit. So the Powerless Wolverine suit appeared in Wolverine issue number 1 circa 2014. So, obviously it being number 1 was one of those typical Marvel revamps.
I was about to say, is this the first Wolverine number 1, or is this like the third or the fourth? Knowing Marvel, how many Wolverine number 1s are out there? You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly why I said Wolverine 2014, because I was like, that dates it for you. That puts the time period down. You can easily identify it. So why I like this suit, and this is a perfect example of us discovering something just by doing the research required to do a video like this. Like, this suit, we didn't even know about this suit until we researched it, and we were like, we really like this suit. So Wolverine, essentially at this point in time in the comics, he had lost his powers, and he needed a more armored suit to protect him. His healing factor powers, he still had his trademark claws, but this suit had a more armored look to protect him. And this suit is predominantly like black and yellow, and it's dope because I like it because his legs and his midsection, they kind of form an X based on the color scheme of the black and yellow. So it's like a subtle, reference to him being part of the X-Men, but also super streamlined with some like fantastic looking detailing on the arms and on the kind of like the hip area, the thigh and hip area. And I think the suit just looks really cool. And it's a suit that you may not see all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it looks phenomenal. I love how streamlined it looks. And to me, it kind of gives the look of like a motorcycle jacket. And I'll tell you why, because it kind of has that like ribbed design. I don't know if you've ever seen that on like the sleeves of some motorcycle jackets.
Yeah,
it's got that ribbed look on the arms, which I feel like pays homage to some of the casual attire that Wolverine has worn in history. So this is my favorite suit. This is a suit, and the reason why it became number 1 is because this is a suit that kind of came out of nowhere for us, and we had the spectacular spoiler. We like to blow people's minds. So me and DeepBoyce, we were like, this is a suit that I think is really, really cool. It's not too, crazy over the top like some of his other suits, but still has some of the classic colors that evoke the Wolverine character. What you think, boys?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything you said. Just like it has a very, very sleek design. I also like it's various shades depending on who's drawing it. Sometimes it's like a mustard color. Sometimes it's almost like a golden color. But either way, I like how it looks, whether it's more mustard or more, a little bit more of a golden color. But like you said, I really like the way that it evokes classic looks that Wolverine has had in the past. And it's hard to make a suit in the first place, and it's hard to kind of revamp or do something a little new. And I think this is like a good example. Like, people should kind of look at this suit as a good example of something that evokes, like Marvel heroism. Because Marvel, listen, a lot of Marvel characters have some kind of silly looking suits.
They really do.
Like, I'm a big Marvel fan, and they definitely go a little crazy when it comes to the looks of the characters, and we're usually fond of them because they're we consider them classic. But this suit is like a nice sort of modern take on what Wolverine has worn in the past, which again, sometimes it's over the top and a little crazy, but it looks functional, it looks cool, it looks kind of high tech at the same time. It looks, it evokes the X-Men. It's got that X-Men look to it. It's dope, and it looks a lot like what we mentioned earlier, that suit from the Wolverine movie, which I guess they had the picture of something of the suit that I guess they were gonna add, and they cut it out of the movie. It kind of reminds me of that as well, in terms of it's kind of have like some rib elements if you look at the gloves on that suit, and the helmet really looks like it's like a really cool kind of high tech carbon polymer or something. Like, you know, there's some nice attention to detail to it, and we really put this one at the top because, like Hazy said, we wanted to put something out there that not that many people ever really mentioned or have even seen. Like, we wouldn't have known about this unless we actually went out there and did our research, and I think that kind of adds to the suit, the fact that it's, you know, it's not often out there. That kind of that makes it, I don't know, just kind of adds a cool factor in my opinion.
Definitely. And, you know, I was actually just looking at another picture of it, and I was looking at the detailing I told you I liked on the arms. I mean, I'm actually looking at it, I'm thinking it actually evokes something else that's from the history of Wolverine, which is samurai armor.
Word.
Like his arms look like the armor plating, the layered plating that samurai tend to have on their armor.
Word.
Now, this is kind of like a flatter design, but the plating does give you that image, that picture of samurai armor. And obviously, you know, if you're familiar with Wolverine, you know he spent time in Japan, you know, learning the ways of the samurai, falling in love with Mariko. And I think that it's a great homage to Wolverine's history throughout comics. This is a great suit, and I would love to see it come back. I would love to see this suit come back, man. But anyway, guys, that concludes our list of top 5 Wolverine costumes. Let us know if you think Wolverine is big pimping in these suits, or if you don't like these suits and you got some other suits that you think should be on this list. And by all means, support the Spectacular Spoiler League by hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you could be up to date with the latest and greatest come from the Spectacular Spoiler League. Also, drop us a like if you, like what we had to say in this video. It helps get the video out there and helps us recruit more Spectacular Spoiler Leaguers to the cause. But me and DeepBoyce, we getting on out of here. We're going to go try on some of Logan's suits over here and, get out on the streets and, maybe glue some forks to our knuckles and start doing some Wolverine cosplay. Saving some people out on the streets as Wolverine. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.